Welcome back to FFB, amigos. Today, Chelsea win. Yes! 3-0 over Aston Villa. And a dominating performance. Some will say that Aston Villa didn't show up, which is partially true. But hell, did Chelsea show up and prove why you should be scared. All of you out there should be scared of Chelsea. I think we're finally here. Let's get into it a little bit. I think the key themes today is that I think Caicedo is proving by far he's the best midfielder in the league. And today he was put out of place in a way that made me very unhappy. We'll discuss that. And he proved how he can play as the temp pivot, the main pivot, an 8. He can play offensively. He can play more than any other player in the Premier League, probably. Cole Palmer silencing the haters. He got the man of the match award. I don't agree with that, but we'll get into that as well. So the game's starting, and I'm frustrated already. I'm pissed because I don't like the fact that we are doing things. If it was that Gusto was a little hurt, and that's why we played Enzo the way we, Moises Caicedo the way we did, fine. But I suspect that a little bit or a lot of it was to accommodate Enzo Fernández. Look, he had a good game. I'm not going to deny that. But I think Felix is just an amazing player that could do that job as a second 10. I think Nkunku can do it. So there's nothing special of accommodating that player if you're willing to sacrifice stuff defensively. But today, he put in the defense. He put in some of the defensive work rate needed. But the reality is, Villa didn't show up and didn't challenge that. They were weak in the midfield and in transition. And we'll get into that a little bit. But still, that's no reason for that man to carry the armband. We know that belongs to Palmer, or it belongs to Enzo, or even Cucurella at this point. But okay. Villa started with a mid-block and would shift dynamically actually throughout the game, which seems like a dynamic way of playing or just maybe being a little indecisive. Again, they don't have the personality. They're not the type of team that'll do it, but I think if they would have played a low block most of the game and try to hit us on the counter, it would have been smarter for them. But by the 9th minute, they moved to a high line, and right before Jackson's goal, amazing goal by Jackson. Just a great goal, and what a finish in the striker again. That's always underrated by even Chelsea fans, which I think stop it already, right? Yes, I mean, what are we expecting or what do we want from this guy? I think it's hard to. My feed just went up. Sorry about that. What do we expect from this guy? He's a world-class striker. The numbers are there to support him. He plays, he scores. He does a lot of great work off the ball. Come the 36th minute, Enzo scores a great goal as well. And I actually almost cried when Palmer scored the third goal, man. Because all these haters trying to hold him back. And if you watch the game, again, if you're expecting him, goal and assist every 20 minutes, score 4 in a match every game, all this kind of stuff, you might be disappointed. But you cannot be if you're paying attention to the game because the guy, his press is unbelievable, which brings me into that point, which Chelsea's press broadly was just suffocating. Lavia and Caicedo were pivotal, and I think that having a strong, powerful midfield allows you so much. So the fact that we have Lavia and Caicedo on the field, plus we invert we invert a defender. Sometimes you have 3 DMs, depending on the play. A line of 3 there is really powerful and it's hard to beat. And in a game where the opposition didn't find a way to match that wisely or to skip that line, it proved unbelievable. And Palmer's work rate, man, at pressing, that's what people don't see sometimes. His work rate was unbelievable. There were so many plays that led to recovery because of that. But, if I do that, we'll get into a 20-minute video if we speak of all those. Cucurella, for Jackson's goal, he set up the pressure and he set up the cross. So actually, the pressure leading from midfield the pressure put on by Cucurella, just a broad pass would led to recovery, destabilizing the defenses, and then obviously Cucurella does a good job, and obviously Jackson, amazing finish. And Sancho actually, I think, had a great half as well. He's very hard to deal with, and those 1-2s in his movement into space. He's not the fastest player, but he gets through. He gets by defenders whenever he wants to. So that's incredibly impressive. I'm gonna say that we did get a little bit of luck. I mean, most games it happens and you get it. And I think the luck came in the form of Ollie Watkins really missing a sitter, maybe even two if you want to see it. If those goals go in, it was earlier in the match, we're having a different conversation, because I think with the pressure of having the game tied or even going behind would have changed things completely. In the 65th minute, that's when we saw Bailey and Duran come in, which again, look, I'm not Unai Emery, and who am I to say the man, one of the biggest winners in Europe and a great, tactician. Sometimes a little too offensive for my taste, but hey, that's what led Villa to be in the high positions in getting Champions League football. But I think there's matches where, especially if you're not going through a good patch, you can play on the counter, drop the block a little bit, which he does it in phases of the game, but I don't think those were applied correctly. And have a player like Bailey with that speed to go in behind, especially when Watkins is not having a good day. But they could have started that way. And I still, dude, I don't know. I know nothing, but I would find a way to incorporate Duran. Maybe because I love South American players. You guys know that about me, Latino. But the guy is just smacking him in whenever you put him in. So I don't know, man. Tough choices. I guess I don't watch Villa enough, or I don't understand Emery enough to why those changes didn't apply. And then the thing that we do have to talk about that is a little terrifying is Fofana's injury. I think he's been solid. I think he's been better than Colwell. I think he's been the best center back in the last few games. And I think that would be a big concern. We're not ready to handle that injury. And now that we have Reece out, we got to remember Fofana is another one of these players that has suffered with injuries, and some hardcore injuries for quite a while. He just jumps on the ball. So who knows? Who knows if it's a hamstring, it could be something in his hip, it could be his knee, something certainly stabilizing got injured. So that can always be risky. Nkunku comes in on the 70th minute. He's our leading goal scorer, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, not in the Prem, but amazing. He comes in, and suddenly there's space because they got to get into the game, right? And Madueke comes in to try to exploit the pace, and I think to slow them down a little bit, right? Because by bringing in that pace, you're telling them you're holding back their wide players also, because they can't they can't give them that much in space in behind, but still it came up. And then, like I mentioned earlier in the video, Palmer's goal was it ended the match, number one. Number two, it shut up a lot of people. Number three, it was a golazo. What a beauty of a goal. Tight space. Really, does that little skip to get away from the player and just curls it in wide. Unbelievable. So happy that he scored. Shut a lot of people up. Padding his stats again, building up his stats again. He walks away with an assist and a goal, and in a game that was not the best for him, but still amazing. Man of the match performances. What do you guys think? Who was your man of the match? To me, this always happens. The creative players are going to get it, but without a doubt, it had to be Cucurella or even Caicedo. And obviously, Caicedo is my favorite player, so I would have given it to him with my Caicedo-shaped glasses on. But if not, it wouldn't Cucurella. But fine, I'm not mad that Palmer gets it. But I think that indicates that precisely people have a preference for offensive players and giving it to them. That counts more. But what those two, Cucurella and Caicedo, did in this game was amazing. So much so that it damned the great job that Enzo did, And Lavia quietly, very powerful game. So all around the team did really well. I love again what Sancho did, and I think Chelsea. I can now call it Chelsea are back, and I think it's because of the midfielder, and I think it's because of Lavia, and I think Lavia enabling Caicedo to be as powerful as he is, and just how ridiculously well Cucurella is playing. Vamos Cucurella, vamos Cucurella, and the guy's unbelievable, man. So when he's inverted as a second DM, he does the role. When he has to stop people coming down the flank, he put everybody in their pocket, including Bukayo Saka. And today it was just shocking to see how people just couldn't make it past him. And such a small guy. It's just, it's wonderful to watch. And if he sustains these levels, who the hell knows? If he sustains these levels, we might lose him. And Real Madrid are looking for a left back, right? Let's hope not. In any case, again, my concern, I think, with the I hope this doesn't win a permanent slot for Enzo on the team, because I don't think that'll apply to every game. But fine. And my main concern is still the goalkeeper. Again, some great saves. But again, I don't feel too solid with him in back. I think I'm a little saddened for Jorgensen. I mean, what's the guy have to do to deserve a start? That's the only thing. But absolutely, I'm so happy. Guys, this sets up. We were one goal away from definitely beating Arsenal on the table and being second. No title race talk yet for me, because I think sustaining the level for young players, that's always a problem. You know, when you see young stars coming up, and he's the next Messi, he's the next whatever, he's the next. It's about, can you carry that level for sustained periods or for seasons on end? That's what makes elite or world class. So you're not world class if you can dominate, 1 out of 3 games. I think that's what some of the young players suffer with, and this is a young team. So the fact that it's young means we can really mature into something very, very, very special that can last half a decade at least. So very excited. And this is the beginning of this run of games that I've been telling you, where we just have like Spurs a little bit tough, but we can make it all the way to the game Man City. And I think we can be certainly second, maintain second spot. And then I'm willing to have the conversation after that sort of run of easier games if we're in a special place. But unbelievably, I'm super happy. I haven't gotten as emotional as I did, I think, with Palmer goal today, because it felt just like a release of that pressure. And it proved that we're a level above that. The team was performing, multiple players were performing, and that when they're trying to put Palmer down for being still one of the best players in the Premier League, but just not Ballon d'Or winner level or best player in the world level, he could still show up and do it. And that goal was important, because that, put it to bed and allowed for changes, which he probably didn't appreciate, but he gets a rest, and we were able to rest some players. Which, that's another thing, guys, to keep in mind. Caicedo never gets a rest, because not that he doesn't deserve it, but the man's a beast, an animal. I'm sometimes terrified of burnout with him, because he runs, he comes into tackles, one-on-one fights. I don't know if you saw a couple today where they try to smash him, and the other guy, he's such a, smaller than many of the opponents, certainly in the Premier League. And he's just smart with the way he moves his body and controls his center of gravity, sends someone flying. And he's not the guy you take out. Dude has 5 lungs and incredible strength. So I think that makes him probably the most important player in the team, certainly. And I'll continue to say that forever, guys. I'm sorry. I'm just a huge fan. So basically, what do you think of Palmer's performance? Is Caicedo already the player of the season, or does he make team of the season in the Prem? Who is your man of the match? Who is your Premier League player of the season so far? And do you believe, like me, that both certainly Caicedo and Cucurella are already team of the season for the Premier League? I know there's a long way to go, but definitely I think they're candidates. And I'll argue team of the season, world class around the world. I wish some of you guys can see the performance of Caicedo in Ecuador. He is our leader in Ecuador, and it's really impressive and amazing knowing he's still a young man with so much future ahead of him. In any case, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe to Football Blue, or FFB, and let's keep the blue flag flying. There's great things coming. And I hope you really enjoy the Liverpool and Manchester City match. We got to keep an eye out. We kind of care what's going on at the top of the table now, because we might have a shot further down the road to at least put some heat, or who the hell knows, right? And we're still in a couple of cups, so I think there's exciting things happening this year. So please let me know in your comments. Subscribe, and again, as always, I thank you and I appreciate your time and your support that allows me to continue to make videos for you. And as always, come on, you Blues.